Hello, brief calculus students. Okay, so this week we are getting ready for our first test in this class, and I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable knowing what to expect and knowing how to prepare. So, you have already gone down to here and found that we're here in test number one review section right now. And what you're seeing here is the first part here is a review sheet. Now, the key thing you need to understand about this is a small sample of the types of problems that you may see on the test. They're not exactly the problems. They may not even be the same problems at all. But what I want you to understand is these are the key ideas. So when you're studying section 2.1, these are the three main ideas you should be keeping in mind. So making sure you are understanding how to find average rate of change and just be able to discuss its meaning, being able to describe it in words, being able to write sentences about it. Meaning is important. Okay, then also know what the average rate of change looks like on a graph, aka a secant line, so on and so forth. So as you're studying, make sure you really pay attention to these key ideas. Make sure you can do those things. Now, I've given you a few problems to help get the math juices going again. Make sure you're kind of remembering the sections, but don't expect these problems to mirror what's going to be on your test. They might be something different. But what I can guarantee you is it's going to talk about these three things. Now, I may not be able to do every single bullet point here, but for every problem on the test, you should be able to point back and say, oh, yeah, that was this one right here, or something like that. You should be able to identify which of these key ideas every problem is referring to. Okay? Now, you'll notice that continues on for each section. Each section has its key ideas, and then there's a few practice problems. Now, when we go back to the main page, you'll see here there's walkthroughs. So here what you'll see is if you needed help doing one of the problems, or if you want to see if you did it right, well, that's what these walkthroughs are for. These videos will take you through every problem that's in the review. Now, so how to study. You do this walkthrough, absolutely, but this is not enough. You need to go back through your website homework and you need to go back through your Math AS homework and make sure that you understood how to do everything. And then, you also need to go back through the book problems. Go back into every section and look at the problems in the back of every section and at least thought about them. Even if you didn't know if they're right or wrong, do you understand what they're saying? If you did it, you don't know if you got it right or wrong, at least do you understand what the problem's asking for? Do you have an idea of how to attempt it? So if I happen to pull off one of these problems and put it on the test, have you at least thought about it? You never know if you'll get it right or wrong unless you check the answers, or you can email me and ask me if you got it right or wrong. That'll tell you. But at least have thought about it so it doesn't come out of the blue and so if you don't know what something means, ask. Okay, now, so that's how you review. That's how you're going to review. You're going to do all the book problems for each of the sections, and you're going to do your Math AS homework and look at that stuff, and make sure you're focusing on those bullet points. Now, what is your test going to look like? Because this is the next most important part. How you prepare should be how you test. So I want you to understand what you're going to be seeing. Now, I can't show you the test because then you guys would have seen it, but it's going to be in Math AS. It's going to look like just like a normal homework assignment where you have all your numbers on the side. Number one, you're going to have number one, number two listed down the side. Okay, and when you click on number one, the problem will be in there and there'll be the answer blank. And let's say you get the answer of 27. Then problem number two, and you have your answer blank of negative 34. Then answer blank number 3 was actually a big box for you to type stuff in. So you typed in your meaning of something, whatever it may be. That will not be graded for this test. You're not going to get a grade. You're not going to know if you got something right or wrong. You're just going to type in your answer. Now, how this is going to work is when you did the problem and you found the answer is 27, hopefully on a sheet of paper, you were doing problem number 1, and you did your math, you got your whatever it was going to be, and then you got your answer of 27. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, it sounds a little weird, but you'll understand why. Then on page 2, another page, you're going to do problem 2. And you're going to do all your work and get your answer of negative 34, whatever it was. Then on another page, a completely separate page, you're going to do problem number 3, and you're going to do all your work and get your answer. Now, what you're going to do next is after you have finished your test and you have all of your it is going to be timed. It is a time test. And I will tell you after I'm done, when it posts next week, I'll tell you how long it is. I believe it's going to be 120 minutes, so 2 hours to take your test. So after you've finished your whole test and you've gotten all your answers, and you have all of your work shown on separate pieces of paper, one page for problem number 1, one page for problem number 2, one page for problem number 3, one page for problem number 4, so on and so forth. You are then going to have 24 hours to upload your work to me. You're going to send me either it could be pictures, you can take a picture of it and then upload it. You can scan it into a PDF file and upload it that way. I don't care how you get it to me, just get it to me in some way that I can open it. And I am not going to grade your answers in Math AS, I'm going to grade your work, just as if you had done this work in front of me in class. The idea here, the reason for this, I don't want someone to get psyched out during the middle of their test thinking, oh my gosh, I'm getting everything wrong. Well, what if it was just a silly little negative sign? You know, I'm grading your calculus, I'm not grading your answers. So I need you to show me your work from start to finish on paper, in a legible format, in some way that I can read. Now, some people might be saying, I don't want to take pictures, can I just bring it by campus because I'm there on whatever day of the week anyway? Well, absolutely, yeah. You can bring it by and you drop it off in the math office, which is, my office is Q265. So you can go ahead and drop that off in my office and get it to me that way. Or you can drop it off with the secretary and she can put it in my box. You could do anything like that. You just have to get me your work within 24 hours. And the work on your page better match the answers you typed into Math AS. So this way I know you haven't changed your work or changed your answers or anything of that nature. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. But I just wanted you to be aware that the big focus is going to be showing me how you did your work. You can't just write down an answer. So therefore, when you're practicing this week, you can practice that way so you're ready for your test on next week, sometime next week. Okay, best of luck.